You're listening to Later with Mo Kelly on demand from KFI AM 640.
Do not touch that phone. What I mean by that is we know that Google is going to have its next major product release on August 13th. We know Apple will have iPhone 16 most likely in September, and there will be millions of people around the country who will buy the new phone, and if they don't trade in the old phone, they will be stuck with the decision of what do I do with the old phone, or what should I do with my old phone?
And wait a minute, how many people really trade in their phones?
I never have.
Because you've got data on that phone.
Yeah.
That data is still there.
Yes.
There are people who could get it off your phone.
Yes.
If it went to that person.
Marsha, Collier, keep on preaching.
It's true. And I know it's worth money. Yeah, you can clean it up and sell it on eBay. In my books, I tell you how to do it. You can make a little money, not a lot, or you can reuse it. I'm all about sustainability when it comes to electronics. I can't throw any away because I know how it damages the environment.
I have my old phones for a number of reasons. One, protection of data. Two, storage. They are a good external drive in many instances. And also I use them. I can use one for like a high grade camera for some of my video work. I can use it as security cameras around my house and the perimeter. There are a lot of uses that I can use it for.
Well, I got some new touches on some of these ideas that you were talking about.
Let's do it.
But I'm showing Mo a picture right now that you would swear was a really cool gaming holder.
Mm-hmm.
You know, it looks like what it is, and I forgot the brand. They sell them at Best Buy, and you can search the internet for phone holders for gaming.
It's like a portable gaming console.
Portable gaming console. And what it does, it clamps onto both sides of your phone. And what you do with the old phone is you pretty much wipe your phone. Because this phone you're not going to be using for anything else but gaming. Yeah, you'll have to sign in with whatever. If you have a Google account, which is the way it is, you have to sign in. But then you can start loading it. I mean, think of how many gigabytes you have on this. You can start downloading games and go crazy. And you will have your own little handheld superpower because you've got a tiny computer there.
And there's nothing else really to weigh it down because you're not using it for anything else.
Right? So this can be your little portable gaming machine, something to keep the kids busy. But, you know, why would you want to share it with the kids just, you know?
We've used it when I've had my very young relatives come by as a portable movie studio, a way that they can watch Netflix or Disney Channel, and if something happens to it, it doesn't matter.
Mm-hmm.
It's a worthless, useless phone for the most part, but it provides another purpose.
Exactly. Exactly. Now, I got one for you. You said you were using for security camera.
Yep.
And I got an ace new app for that. Designed by no other than Edward Snowden.
Is that good or bad?
Good for you, bad for the other people.
Okay.
It's a security app, and it's called The Haven, Haven. The Haven Keep Watch app. Okay, so you got 3 words there. It turns an existing smartphone into a full-fledged surveillance unit. Not only using the camera, but it uses the gyroscope and a lot of other things to detect movement and sounds. So this is pretty amazing. It sends alerts to your primary phone, and you can set it up for monitoring pets, keeping an eye on your front door. It's a camera and a motion detector. See, I think the whole key there is the motion detector. Well, not because anybody ever gets arrested, frankly. I've got great pictures of the people who broke into
Yeah, you want to at least see your stuff being stolen as it's being stolen, so at least you have a reference point of who did it to you.
You know, and the police didn't really care. Yeah, they had it. So you got a picture of who stole your stuff, you know. Anyway, I was also a big fan of an iPod when I had an iPod.
You're really dating yourself now.
Oh man, I love my iPod.
So did I. They were revolutionary back in the day. Carrying your music with you in a way that wasn't as bulky as a Walkman.
And I had this little like Oochie Goochie kind of thing with a chain around my neck, and it had a little leather pocket that I'd put my
little pouch.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. No, it looked like a cigarette box.
Oh.
But it had
you had the big iPods.
Yeah. I'm talking all the way back.
Oh, okay.
I'm an old-time follower. And so I'd have it in there, and then I'd have the things hanging out of my ears with the white cord, and I felt so cool. But anyway, to this day, I miss my iPod and will never forgive Apple, because one day my music got turned all into generic music because I had uploaded some live performances, and they were recordings, legit recordings of, oh no, they just substituted the same song. I was so angry, but that, water under the bridge.
Someone has my $1,000 iTunes collection somewhere.
What happened?
I was working one place, and this was before you could share across devices, which is good for us that we're going to talk about. And it was on a work computer. I was using it for legitimate work purposes, but it was all local to that computer. I couldn't log in at some other place and have access to my iTunes library. And so when I left that job, under not pleasant circumstances,
duress. Okay.
I lost access to that voluminous library of music.
And it wasn't in the days when you could have just put this giant 1 terabyte flash.
We didn't have jump drives back then. This is like 2007 or so. Yeah.
But you can turn your phone into a music player, your old phone. I mean, think about it. The same thing. You wipe the phone, you get rid of all the stupid apps, unless you want to keep a couple games on it, because really music doesn't take up a lot of space. You can have a bajillion songs on there, and you're only going to have 10 gigabytes, maybe, if you're lucky. There are plenty of apps that you can use to make it an iPod. And that's what I've done with one of mine. I have another one at home. I have a lot of old phones that I use for my home, for the Nest thermostats.
Yes. Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
And it's just for that. I keep it by the bed, the Nest thermostats, the lights, being sure everything's turned off at night. Just, and I have everything on a program, and it's all on that.
It reminds me, we have a dedicated phone that we use as a remote. We put the Roku remote on it. We put the actual TV remote on it, and it serves a purpose. Yeah.
Your IoT.
Yes, yes.
You can do the same thing. And you don't realize that a lot of the phones have an RF signal that you can use on your TV. I mean, it's amazing. You can turn anything on and off.
Change the channel, change the streaming app, change however you want, or to your point, start playing some music and then cast it to your television with a surround system, which I do. That's what I love to do.
I love to do.
I listen to iHeartRadio, usually my show, because I like listening to me. And then I'll cast me to the big stereo system.
I do listen to you, though, Mo.
Oh,
sometimes you annoy me, but sometimes
I annoy everybody. I annoy my mother. I annoy my wife. Why would I not annoy you? I am self-aware. I annoy myself sometimes.
But you see, you're self-aware. You annoy people.
Yeah.
Well, I know that I can be a little annoying myself.
That's why usually sometimes I just have to be alone, because my propensity to annoy someone might be extra high on a given day.
Right. My idea, I want to go on a vacation, just be alone.
Look, I've done it. No one's listening. It's just you and me talking.
Okay, yeah.
It is the best. Now, don't tell your husband. Just get on like a ship and go. The first cruise I did was to the Bahamas by myself. It was wonderful. I went to Spain once by myself. Wonderful.
I went to England to visit family, and I rented a whole house for myself. And my family would come over and pick me up to take me to see them. But I'd spend a couple days reading and doing whatever.
You're on your own schedules.
You're grown up.
Yes.
We're grown ups. lucky us.
Don't tell your husband though, okay?
Oh, I'll never tell him.
Okay, good.
Never.
It's Later with Mo Kelly. I'm joined in the studio by Marsha Collier on this Tech Thursday.
You're listening to Later with Mo Kelly on demand from KFI AM 640.
Tech Thursday with Marsha Collier. Marsha, what else you got?
Okay, well, we've been watching the Olympics, and I'm seeing these ads for Gemini. And we all know, everybody, all the tech reporters in the world are talking about AI, AI. Now, we've heard about 5G, and that really didn't improve my life any.
I could download movies a little faster, but it didn't fundamentally change my life.
Okay, so AI is going to change your life as the new, shiny new thing. So I see all these things on the Olympics. And Mo, was there anything that they demoed on the Olympics that you need to do?
No, I was not wowed, swayed, or even impressed by anything that they're showing that AI can do in a conventional sense that would impact my life.
Perhaps it's of use to big business who can afford to have their own AI that's all tailored for their business and to help them out. But realize that when regular people are using AI, like when you're on your phone, I'm going to talk about Android because that's my thing. There's a whole bunch of AI in my phone right now.
Right.
And yet it's, want to try Gemini? That pops up every once in a while. Want to try it?
Why do you think that is?
Well, because and I write about this in my books, every time you have to click yes to anything on your phone, your computer, your tablet, it means that you're going to have to give up some of your data and your privacy. And if you want to read the fine print, you can, but we all know nobody's going to be reading that, right?
Well, if they're asking, that means they get something out of it that they don't have access to legally without your permission.
Exactly. And it's not Apple, I think, is going to build it in. We don't know because they have a new operating system coming out. But, and then there's the Microsoft Copilot. I keep getting the bing bing on my computer.
It's not that good. It's on one of my desktops at home. It's like it's intrusive.
Really?
More than anything. I need AI to do something either easier, faster, or something that I couldn't do altogether.
Well, what's really funny is you might know I wrote the series of books, over 10 editions, of eBay for Dummies. So I pretty much know eBay, and I love eBay. I get a kick out of selling stuff on eBay. But they introduced AI descriptions. Now, I take pride in writing a good description of an object that I'm selling. Mm-hmm. And I like to tell people where it came from. What about it? I think it's a better sales pitch for the item than just a cold pitch. So I copy what I have already typed. Then I have AI create a description. And what AI does is it creates a description from all the little identifiers that you've put in, like 27-inch TV or OLED, and it'll take all those little things and it'll write up this thing that always repeats itself. But what I suspect is if you use their AI, it gives preference in the eBay search. So I use it, I let it write it.
Which means it would allow it to cull more information from users.
The data that's been put in. And then I just go over it and Control V and paste my original stuff and move along.
And they don't get any credit for
it.
But see, that's again another example of doing something. It wasn't providing a service or an ability that you didn't already have.
Well, they showed on the Olympics, those ads, I have to admit they were beautiful. Rewriting an email. Now, I've written it.
I don't need help with that.
I've written it once. How are you going to make it any better?
And it's not a better grammarian or writer than I am, at least right now. So it doesn't serve a purpose because I need it in my voice and I need it to sound like it's coming from me.
Your voice. And that's the key, Mo. You just nail on the head. That's it. And that's what AI does not give people. Your voice. We all become the masses. We all have the same voice. Think about it. You've hit the nail on the head. That's it.
Yeah, I don't have any use for that in my life. If I were doing mass marketing and I needed something, I don't know how I would use it in my life. Now, I know we use AI on a smaller level as far as ads and recommendations, and
Right.
when we use it with our navigation systems, I get all that. But as
Right.
far as the contemporary applications and doing jobs for us, it's not there.
I don't want it to do a job for me. I mean, they already know if you turn in a resume for a job, they already know when it's written with AI because there are apps that can discover it.
Mm-hmm.
If you want to write a book, there are apps that publishers have that know you've done it.
Same with term papers in college.
Right? So, I mean, what good is it there? I mean, where's the good if it can be discovered so easily and you can be called a fraud? I mean,
I know there are plenty of lazy people out there, but I don't think it effectively replaces the lazy person.
so I don't invite Gemini into my life on the phone. I don't use it. I haven't felt a need for it. If I ever feel a need for it, then I'll let you. I'll call back in.
Please,
and report on
and
it.
I always defer to you. Maybe you know of something or a use that I haven't thought of. I would like to be able to use it. I'm all for the technology which makes my life easier, simpler, or quicker.
But you see, whose life are you talking about? I hear all these tech reporters online and everywhere saying how great AI is and everything. I got to tell you, I have tried AI, just not on my personal devices, because part of what AI is a large learning machine. It learns from data it's given. And on your phone, the data that you're going to give it is all your personal information, all your contacts. Now, if you have any famous people in your contacts, it will know that you have those connections, and that will become part of your online visage that nobody sees. But Google will know, and Google will send you the ads. It's
So AI works for the benefit of anyone but you.
well, I do get the ads that I enjoy seeing. I do like that.
But ultimately, who's benefiting from the ads beyond your personal enjoyment?
No, that's when I buy something, and usually I look at ads as informational because I'm not sitting around on the phone and just, doom scrolling or something. I have a purpose for being on the phone. If I want to be there shopping, I'll say, oh yeah, I remember that thing I saw. And sometimes I will click on the ad and move it over to my Chrome so that I can look at it another day.
Yes, I'll put it in this program that I call what it's called Pocket.
Well, next week we can talk about Google Discover, which
Okay.
is built into all Android phones. And it's a great way to remember things.
All right.
Thank you, Mo.
That's next week.
We got so much to talk about.
Can't wait. Are you going to buy anything you think from the Google product reveal on the 13th?
Oh, no, but I am. Going to buy something August 2nd real fast. Motorola is coming out with a new, air tracker, one of those little trackers.
Like Pebble and everything?
Like Pebble, the Apple one, but it's really good looking. It's really nice. And that would be August 2, which is tomorrow.
Small?
Okay. Yeah. And guys, get on the network because it's not going to work unless you flip the switch. Apple puts everybody on the network automatically. We have to give permission. So go in your phone, look for in the settings, find my device and say, okay, I'll do it.
All right. Well, let us know how it goes.
Okay.
You're the guinea pig. You know that,
I can't
right?
wait. I love it.
You're listening to Later with Mo Kelly on demand from KFI AM 640.
If you are anywhere around my age, we grew up with dreams of flying cars one day littering the skies, that we would leave our cars on the ground and then, just like the Jetsons, fly to work, fly on vacation all our own, have our own flying cars. Well, it hasn't quite happened yet, but there are still some places which are forward thinking. I don't know if we'll actually get these flying cars in my lifetime, but some states are looking forward just in case. And it's called the Jetsons Law, or at least colloquially, that's what they're calling it in Minnesota, where it will be legal, or I should say it will be allowable for flying cars to operate in the state of Minnesota as of today. And they're called roadable aircrafts, vehicles designed to operate both as cars on public highways and as short flight planes capable of taking off and landing at airfields. Now, this is according to the legislation. That's how they're defining it. Minnesota is the second state to pass regulations allowing flying vehicles. I don't know what the first one was. It doesn't say. But as far as regulation goes, instead of requiring license plates, these flying vehicles must secure tail numbers, kind of like a plane. The laws also regulate where the vehicles can take off and land. Flying cars are not allowed to take flight from a highway unless it would remove the vehicle from an emergency. The vehicles must also pass FAA guidelines. But here's the thing, which I think is impossible to figure out. According to the legislation, the vehicles will be regulated like any other car on the ground, adhering to the same traffic laws and regulations. Well, how does that work if they're flying? If they're flying cars, how are they adhering to the same traffic laws and regulations?
Air traffic laws. Okay, air traffic laws. And it was New Hampshire.
No, it says regulated like any other car on the ground. Look, maybe it's the sentence construction.
I think it's the sentence construction. I think it's the way they put it. What they're saying is the same way cars have to adhere to the rules of the road, these flying cars will have to adhere to the rules of air lanes. That is what was being rolled out. If you remember when we were talking about the flying car implementation here in Southern California, that there was also legislation being drafted to govern what the rules of the air would be among these low flying vehicles.
Yeah, I just don't see how you're going to be able to enforce that. The whole idea of having, let's say, 35 flying cars, in the air in a given moment.
Sky cops. What are you talking about?
Yeah. You're going to pull over?
You're going to have to pull over eventually. And I would think that they would be able to, they have to implement some level of override that police officers can activate. They can't just be, you just fly willy-nilly and you can speed away if you want to. There has to be some level of override that cities have. Once you register your flying car, it must be activated almost like a low jack, where it's like if the police are trying to pull you over, you're swerving in the sky. I'm gonna power you down, sir.
Yeah, so the plane just drops out of the sky?
No, it's not a dropping out. It's kind of like they take over, with the joystick.
It's like an air pit maneuver.
No, it's like a joystick. It's like they take over and they take control of your vehicle, almost like a.
You've watched too many movies.
Almost like how they do with the driver's ed car, where the driver's ed drivers in the other seat can take over the car in case there's an emergency. Same thing. Where the police will be able to take these over in the air.
It's nice that they have this legislation, but I think it's at least 10 years too soon. Now, I know why certain corporations are gearing up for it, because they see that there will be money at some point. You want to get your patents in place and you want to get your infrastructure in place. Like, for example, United Airlines bought a $10 million flying taxi company back in 2022.
Yeah.
And I'm not mad at any company who wants to get out in front of this. We always talk about companies not seeing the forest for the trees or not seeing where an industry is going. And we talk about a company like Thomas Map Guide. It's like, didn't you see where GPS was going in your own industry? So I would, look, if I were an airline industry, yes. If I were Uber, for example, I would try to make sure that I am connected somehow to the next iteration of localized travel.
I mean, we've already got 2 states down. California is on the cusp. We're on the cusp. I think we will be the third. Once California gets in play, especially with them building the landing ports and things like that, and also already negotiating with LAX and Burbank and John Webb, all the airports, they're already in talks. This is happening, Mo.
But see, this is the strange thing. You have companies like Boeing and Honeywell. And I think of Honeywell, I think of like, smoke detectors. Boeing and Honeywell are also starting $1 million small flight projects.
Yep.
But automobile manufacturers, as of yet, haven't tried to get into it.
There's a reason, because the construction of these, especially even with the air taxis, which is what's going to be coming to Southern California, the air taxis, those are essentially, even though they can land and they can drive on roads, they are primarily VTOLs. They are that's
vertical takeoff.
So they're primarily flying vehicles that have a ground capacity, and that's why.
But Honda has got into flying vehicles. I know that because I've seen the commercials with it. But obviously, automotive manufacturers, they're more going the autonomous vehicle, the self-driving car route. Tesla, GM, Ford, and Honda and Toyota, they're all these companies have spent $1 billion on self-driving technology. You know, well,
Hyundai, I can't remember the company. Hyundai partnered
Hyundai or Honda?
Hyundai.
Okay.
Hyundai partnered with a flying car company. They came into an air taxi company because I guess maybe putting the name on it kind of like made it more car. But yeah.
Yeah, I just need them to hurry up. I mean, I don't have many more years to just drive. You know? Mark, he's going to be done driving before the decade's over.
What's wrong with you?
That is true.
What is wrong with you? Leave me out of your filth.
I need you to come to grips and age gracefully. Okay?
Yeah, I got something for you to come to grips with, buddy.
Gotta make it weird. Just gotta make it weird.
So filthy.
What, like I started this? Thank you.
I didn't make it weird, though.
Oh, you started it off weird. Come on now. You dragged me into this nonsense of yours. I mean, the point of this should be that Tawala is in the pocket of big flying vehicle, and then you Then you try to.
He's in a lot of people's pockets.
How am I also in with flying cars?
I think I'm detecting a theme here, and we need a forensic audit of all your accounts.
I don't like this.
I like how but he says we started it. He's just impugning your name. He's just questioning your integrity, but we started it.
Oh, I'm not questioning his integrity. I'm impugning it. We passed questioning long ago. There's no further questioning.
When we come back, we have an Idiocracy update. And you may have heard Mark Ronner and myself, we're talking about we're living in a time which is eerily reminiscent of that movie. I think it came out in 2006. Idiocracy, which foretold of an America which had lost its damn mind in every way. And it seems like we might actually be there. Terry Crews, one of the stars of Idiocracy, was asked about that when he was at Comic-Con this past weekend. And when we come back, we'll tell you exactly what he had to say.
You're listening to Later with Mo Kelly on demand from KFI AM 640.
Ladies and gentlemen, the President of America! President Camacho! Shut up! Sit your monkey ass down. Chill out.
KFI AM 640 is Later with Mo Kelly. We're live everywhere on the iHeartRadio app. That was the voice of Terry Crews as President Camacho in the movie Idiocracy. And the plot follows a U.S. Army librarian, Joe Bowers, and a prostitute by the name of Rita. They undergo a government hibernation experiment. Joe and Rita wake up some 500 years later in a dystopian, anti-intellectual society. And it seems that America today has arrived 495 years ahead of time. We're already there. If you watch the RNC, but let me back up. If you've seen Idiocracy, President Camacho is like a black version of Hulk Hogan in every single way. Going then to the RNC, and you have Hulk Hogan almost channeling President Camacho at a huge political event in the nomination process of one of the major parties here in the United States. You realize, against the backdrop of all the other anti-intellectualism which is going on here in America, if you haven't seen Idiocracy, just look out your window. It's just like the movie.
It was a real milestone in American culture. I got to tell you, I interviewed Mike Judge, the creator of Idiocracy and Beavis and Butthead and King of the Hill, a number of years ago. It was a phone interview, and he was kind of surprised at how much the movie had caught on. Because you got to remember, it wasn't a hit when it was first released.
No,
like a lot of things of that sort, it was very ahead of its time. And audience has had to catch up with it, just like Network. Mike Judge is kind of like the Patty Chayefsky of this generation. So now the stuff that we saw in the Network movie from the early 70s, pretty much routine on cable news stuff.
Yep.
Same with Idiocracy, but it sure didn't take 500 years to get there, did it?
No, we're way ahead of schedule. Well, Terry Crews was at Comic-Con, and I guess a number of people have realized the parallels. Spot on parallels. And they asked Terry Crews what he thought of where we were as a country, Hulk Hogan at the RNC, and more. And here's what he had to say.
First of all, it was down to the mustache, the head wrap, the ripped off shirt. I was going, what in the world? You don't understand. I was going, that's what I did. But this is real life. It was crazy. You know, back when, years ago, when all this stuff was starting, back when it was Trump Hillary, I was getting calls from Time Magazine. They were like, hey, we see, you know, a lot of resemblances of what's going on. I was like, yeah, but it'll never get that far. I was like, oh my God. We officially have went that far.
Yeah, we're there. If you haven't seen Idiocracy, it's a satire, but it's so over the top, you would think it would never happen. And that's part of the premise why you have to go 500 years into the future, because no one could see the country in 2006 turning into that in 2024. That wouldn't have sold. That would have been completely unbelievable without a nuclear war in between.
Yeah, he actually sold it short. Who was the porn star? Is it Amber Rose who spoke at the RNC, who had the tattoo across her forehead?
Yes. That's correct.
That's correct. I have to correct you. She's not a porn star. She is an exotic dancer turned OnlyFans star.
Oh, I'm sorry. I didn't get the nuance of that.
Yeah, she doesn't, to the best of our knowledge, she does not have sex on camera for money.
For money, even though there are some leaked sex tapes. It's not the same.
I see. Well, this
sex
is
tapes went out for free.
No, this is an important distinction, and I'm glad you pointed that out.
Yes.
For this woman with the tattoo across her forehead.
She's only nude on her OnlyFans.
But I mean, you'll pardon me if I don't want to glean my political wisdom from an OnlyFans star with a tattoo across her forehead.
But wait, but Mark, before we get too far away from this,
yes,
Idiocracy is so very on point. Listen to this. The issues that the movie touches upon as a social satire: anti-intellectualism, check; commercialism, check; overpopulation, check; and listen to this: voluntary childlessness.
Okay.
The remarks of J.D. Vance and cat ladies.
Oh, yeah, childless cat ladies.
Yes.
Watch out for those.
Yes. We are there. We are absolutely there. And see, the movie is not funny anymore because we see it now.
Who knew I grew up to think childless cat ladies were hot? I mean, you say it like it's an insult, but I like them. I like childless cat ladies.
I didn't say it was an insult. I'm saying J.D. Vance made it an insult.
The guy who wears eyeliner? Are you talking about the same guy?
Yes. Okay. Same guy.
All right.
Same guy.
You know, whatever works for you. For some people, it's eyeliner. For some people, it's chicks with cats.
I was just making the comparison. He denigrated childless women, and Idiocracy denigrated people who were childless as well.
He didn't denigrate couch surfing, though.
That's just a rumor. Stop that.
I know.
That's just a rumor.
He didn't denigrate it.
We don't pass on disinformation here.
I'm not saying anything about his involvement. Look, I just said he didn't denigrate it.
Bill Clinton said, I did not have sex with that woman.
Or that couch.
J.D. Vance said he didn't have sex with the couch, okay?
Yeah, but now you finally understand why your grandparents were always getting on you about not taking the plastic off the couch.
Why you got to make it weird?
Why? You're blaming the victim.
Well, no, I'm not blaming the couch. Who said that?
Was it a love seat? Or a full couch?
That was well done. I'll give him that one. The love seat, that was a good pull.
Generous. Very generous.
I'm a very generous guy.
That's what I hear.
KFI AM 640. We are live everywhere on the iHeartRadio app.
We're not here to tell you what to think. We're here to give you the latest.
KFI
And KOST HD2.
Los Angeles, Orange County.
Live.